Today I'm building Battleshots board, but I probably should be doing something else. But it's a gift from my sister. Just turned 21. So first thing you need, these are 15-30 seconds, 24 by 24 inch. And I mean, you can use any thickness, but I find this one works pretty well to keep it light and be also supportive. These are 3 by 1 by 4 foot. Should just need 2 of them. Each one of these should build all of your ships. Velcro to hold the markers on. Previously I used I drilled holes and used pegs. That was a little more cumbersome. Well, you know, doesn't really need. You're gonna need a bigger thickness of the center board. You'll see what I'm talking about if you want to do the pegs. Hinges and supports. Those are somewhat optional but recommended. And then some scrap nylon and some screws. I'm gonna build some handles. And obviously some shot glasses. The only other thing on this project I am waiting on is some markers, some bingo markers, plastic bingo markers to show up. That's what I'll be using to make the markers. Alright, let's get to going. Alright, so the first thing I did was cut this down to 2 inches wide. I cut about that much off. Then I went ahead and marked this. So now I have this cut out at 10 inches for the carrier, and then 8 inches for the battleship, 6 inches for the submarine, 6 inches for the cruiser, and then 4 inches for the destroyer. Alright, now I have all these pieces cut. Now, what you're going to want to do is you're going to mark a very faint center line along your board, and then mark the first inch in, every 2 inches past that. As you can see, I'm not like on the mark, but those marks are going to go away as soon as I start drilling. Going to be using a 1 3/8 inch Forster bit. These are good because they give you a nice even floor. You can use a regular wood bit, but you're getting a very uneven floor that way. The only thing you really have on this one is a little bit of a nib in the middle, but should be fine. Alright, so here's what the rough final result looks like. This is the carrier, obviously. So you can see you can get some sanding, some touch up. So I marked the depth with a piece of tape, making sure not to cover up these slots. That way the wood can get out, otherwise it'll just jam up. And go ahead and do the rest of these. Alright, I moved inside so you guys can get a better look at this. Alright, so I finished drilling them out, and also you can kind of skip this part if you want. You just leave them as square sleds. My old set, I just left a square, but for this one, since it's a gift, I thought I'd add a little bit of flair to it, I guess. So carrier, I just cut out notches in the corners, and then kind of left an uneven cut on the front. Rounded out the fronts on these, and then rounded out both sides on the sub, and then the same thing with this one. If you have better tools like a jigsaw, you can totally make this look better than I did. As you can see, they're very rough cuts, but I did this with a saw and sandpaper. It didn't actually take me very long at all. But yep, if you're not going to cut this out, I do recommend at least a little bit of sanding to get the rough edges off, because you're going to have a lot of rough edges in here, and then some, obviously, depending on where you cut it, a little bit of wood chips that are cutting out, so that way, you know, it'll last longer and you won't get splinters while you're, you know, getting smashed. All right, so real quick, so because it's made for my sister, I went ahead and painted these her favorite colors. You can leave them blank. You can put a nice finish on them, or you can do whatever the hell you want. But these are how I made hers. And then the board. So first thing you want to make sure is, especially if you're using these, you should have a nice quick sand to these so that all the sharp edges and splinters are gone. So this is a 10 by 10 board for Battleship. The The ships are 2 inches wide, so each of these spots is 2 by 2. And then you have some room over here to place your markers. So you're gonna end up making 2 that are single-sided and 2 that are double-sided. Correction, 1 that's double-sided, so that that'll be your center bit. And I'm gonna show you how that gets assembled here shortly. Okay, so when you get to assembly point, there's a couple decisions you gotta make. So obviously you can customize a lot of things on this. I chose silver for the paint, and then a nice stain on the wood. But, so when you go to assemble, you can either drop this in the space here and install your hinges. If you do that, it's pretty stable when it's standing, but as you can see, there's not enough room there to really install the hinges, so you're gonna have to move your whole board up. So this takes a little bit of pre-planning to do. So to move your whole board up so that your hinges don't interfere with your space, with your spaces down here. So I decided I wasn't gonna do this ahead of time, so what I'm gonna do is option number 2. So the benefit of this one is that when you fold it up, the part that it's lying on, that all the weight is on, when it's folded and like resting against a wall, is the center board, and specifically the bottom of the center board down here, which is the part that no one's ever really gonna see. If you can do it basically this way, where everything, there's basically a gap here at the bottom when the thing is assembled, and when everything folds up, everything sits evenly at the top and at the bottom. It looks very nice folded up. All the weight is on all 3 pieces when they are, when it's folded up, when it's sitting on the side. The only problem is it's the least stable when it's standing. And then you constantly have weight on the hinges that are holding this board in place. Third option is where you would go ahead and butt these pieces together. This would sit right here, and then you would put your hinges in, and then when you fold it up, all the weight would be on the 2 bottom pieces, but also would be on the edges that no one ever really see anyway, because when it's unfolded, they're butted up against each other right there. So that is the option I'm going with today. All right, so pardon my mess in the background, but here's the final result. So I used just some Velcro here, and then I used bingo markers to apply the other side of the Velcro to for misses and hits. As you can see, we'll lay it out. So this piece right here, as I explained before, is optional. The top will stay with just the hinges when you fold it down. The only problem is that when you're putting the pieces on, you're putting a lot of stress on the hinges and these screws, and this on both sides helps keep it in place. Anyway, all right, now it's gonna get this thing packed up and get it shipped off. All right, y'all have a good one. Hey, actually, I am back for one final disclaimer, actually 2. Obviously, in your comments, some of you are going to talk about my terrible woodworking skills. Feel free. I'm not claiming to be a good woodworker. But just to put it out there, if you play Battleshots and you fill all of your shots and you drink all of your shots with hard alcohol, that is 17 shots, I'm pretty sure you will die. So don't do that. What I like to do is beer or wine if you're, a lady, or I will fill the shots only about a quarter full, which is still a fair bit. Also, what we've done before was take vodka
fill up 4 of the shots with vodka and the rest with water. And although you can smell it when you put it up to your lips, if you do it quick enough, you don't know what you're actually gonna get. So yeah, that was pretty much all. Just want to make sure I put that in there so that no one wonders how I don't die playing Battleshots. All right, again, you have a good one.